There's a silent war happening inside you right now. You don't see it, you don't hear it. But every decision you make, every emotion you feel, every dream you chase, it's all being shaped by an invisible hand, your ego, and if you don't master it, it will master you. The ego is clever. It convinces you that you are in control, even as it pulls the strings from the shadows. It flatters you when you succeed. It crushes you when you fail. It whispers in your ear that you are always right, even when you are destroying yourself. But the truth is simple. Until you confront the ego, you will always be a puppet pretending to be a king. Before we go deeper, if you're serious about mastering yourself, subscribe to the channel. We explore the hidden battles inside the mind and reveal the tools ancient wisdom gave us to win. Let's begin. Well, Chapter 1. What is the ego really? Most people think the ego is just pride or arrogance, but it's so much deeper than that. The ego is the false self. It's the mask you wear to survive. It's the image you project to the world because deep down, you're terrified of being truly seen. The ego is a storyteller. It creates an identity based on your successes, your failures, your labels. I am smart. I am a victim. I am special. I am broken. I am better than others. And once you believe the story, the ego will fight to the death to protect it. Because to the ego, identity is survival. If the story is threatened, the ego acts like a cornered animal. It attacks, defends, or runs. Ego is the mask you forgot you were wearing. It's the actor who started believing he was the character. And unless you wake up, you will live and die inside a role you never chose consciously. Chapter 2. The 5 ways the ego masters you without you realizing. The ego doesn't need to scream to control you. It works in silence. Here's how it wins. 1. It makes you constantly seek approval. You think you're chasing dreams? Most of the time, you're chasing validation. Posting achievements for likes. Buying things to impress strangers. Living lives based on what will they think. The ego thrives on applause. It's addicted to it, and it will hijack your life just to hear another round of claps. But remember, if they can make you with their approval, they can break you with their disapproval. 2. It turns pain into permanent identity. The ego loves pain because it can use it. You get hurt once. The ego turns it into a story. I'm always betrayed. I'm a victim. No one understands me. And now, you don't just experience pain, you become pain. You identify with the wound, and the ego builds a fortress around it, because the fortress keeps the ego alive. 3. It keeps you addicted to being right. The ego would rather be right than be happy. It would rather burn down relationships than admit fault. It would rather suffer than surrender. Why? Because being wrong is a threat to the identity the ego has built. It feels like death. So arguments drag on. Apologies are never spoken. Growth is abandoned. All because the ego must protect its illusion of infallibility. 4. It fears silence and stillness. Stillness is the enemy of the ego, because in stillness, you start to hear the real self whispering. So the ego keeps you busy, scrolling, working, entertaining, consuming, never alone, never quiet, never questioning. The busier you are, the safer the ego feels. 5. It projects its shadows onto others. Whatever you deny in yourself, the ego will blame onto others. You refuse to admit you're selfish. Suddenly everyone else is selfish. You can't admit your fear. Everyone else becomes weak. You hide your envy. You accuse others of showing off. The ego is a master of projection. It sees the world not as it is, but as it needs to see it to survive. And every projection pushes you farther away from truth and deeper into illusion. If you recognized even one of these signs inside yourself, understand this: it's not your fault. You were conditioned to live this way. But once you see the ego, you can never unsee it. And now, you are responsible for mastering it. Chapter 3. How to master your ego before it masters you. Mastering the ego isn't about killing it. It's about seeing it, unmasking it, no longer letting it drive the car. Here's how you start. Step 1. Practice radical self-observation. Become a silent witness to your own mind. Catch yourself when you're seeking approval, when you're defending your image, when you're clinging to an identity. Ask, is this my truth, or is this my ego's need? Observation is the first weapon. You cannot change what you are unwilling to see. Step 2. Starve the ego of its addictions. The ego craves praise, validation, superiority, constant activity. Learn to deny it. Post without checking likes. Share your failures openly. Sit alone in silence for 20 minutes a day. At first, the ego will panic. It will feel like death. But that death is the beginning of your freedom. Step 3. Embrace ego. Death moments. When life humbles you, welcome it. When you're wrong, admit it. When you fail, don't run. Every ego death is an opportunity to be reborn a little closer to truth. The people who grow the fastest are not the ones who avoid ego deaths. They are the ones who die daily and resurrect stronger. Chapter 4. The hidden cost of living through ego. You might think, well, so what if I live through my ego? It's protected me this far. But the hidden cost is massive. Here's what ego-driven living steals from you. 1. Authentic relationships. When you live through ego, you never let anyone truly see you. You only show them a curated version. The perfect you, the strong you, the untouchable you. But connection requires vulnerability. True relationships require cracks in the armor. If you live behind your ego, you'll be surrounded by people who love your mask, but not a single soul who knows the real you. 2. Growth. The ego fears change because change threatens the identity it has built. So it will reject feedback, avoid challenges, blame others for stagnation. The person trapped in ego becomes frozen in time, aging physically but remaining emotionally and spiritually immature. 3. Peace. The ego is always comparing, always competing, always judging. It can never rest. Even when you achieve something great, the ego immediately says, "What's next? Who's better than you? Who's watching?" Peace is impossible for the ego, because peace requires surrender, and the ego only knows how to fight. Imagine living your whole life achieving what you thought you wanted, only to realize you never actually lived. You only performed. You only pretended, all because the ego was in control. Chapter 5. The Wisdom of the Ancients on Ego. This isn't a new problem. Thousands of years ago, the wisest minds warned us about the ego's trap. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Be indifferent to what makes no difference." Most of what your ego obsesses over, status, recognition, image, makes no difference in the end. Lao Tzu said, "He who knows others is wise. He who knows himself is enlightened." The war isn't outside, it's inside. It's always been inside. Buddha taught that attachment to the false self is the root of suffering. And yet today, we are more attached than ever. To brands, to labels, to social media profiles, to illusions. The ancients knew the only way to freedom is through the death of the false self. Chapter 6. Signs you're mastering your ego. You'll know you're winning the inner battle when you can admit when you're wrong, without your heart racing. You can let someone else have the spotlight, without bitterness. You can enjoy silence, without reaching for a distraction. You can feel pain, without turning it into your identity. You can succeed, and not feel superior. You can fail, and not feel worthless. Mastery isn't about never feeling ego. It's about recognizing it and choosing differently, over and over and over again. The Chapter 7. Practical exercises to defeat the ego daily. Let's get tactical. Here are 5 exercises you can practice starting today. 1. The 3-second pause. Before you react emotionally, pause for 3 seconds. Ask yourself, is this my ego reacting or my higher self? That short pause can save relationships, careers, and even lives. 2. The Radical Honesty Journal. Every night, write down, where today did my ego try to protect me? Where did I defend myself unnecessarily? Where did I seek approval? No judgment, just brutal, beautiful honesty. Awareness is the beginning of mastery. 3. Silent mornings. Spend the first 30 minutes after waking up in complete silence. No phone, no talking, no stimulation. Listen to your own mind. Watch what thoughts rise. Observe how quickly your ego wants to grab control. Strengthen the observer muscle. 4. Voluntary embarrassment. Do something deliberately embarrassing once a week. Wear mismatched clothes. Tell a stupid joke in public. Admit you don't know something. Why? Because it kills the ego's fear of looking foolish. And every time you kill a little fear, you grow a little stronger. 5. Praise others openly. Your ego wants all the praise for itself. Starve it. When someone does well, praise them openly and sincerely, even if a part of you feels jealous. This trains your mind to celebrate others instead of compete, and slowly, the ego loses its grip. Chapter 8. The Paradox of Ego Mastery. Here's the most beautiful secret. The more you defeat your ego, the less you care about defeating it. Because mastery isn't about winning a war, it's about realizing there was no war to begin with. There is no self to defend, no image to protect, no approval to seek, just awareness, presence, and peace. The ego is terrified of its own death, but beyond the death of ego lies the life you've been seeking all along. Not a louder life, not a more praised life, but a real one. If you don't master your ego, it will master you. It will hijack your life. It will build a throne on your fears. It will turn your existence into a desperate performance. But if you face it, if you watch it, starve it, outgrow it, you can reclaim your soul. You can become who you were before the world told you who you had to be. The journey won't be easy. It will feel like dying, because in a way it is. But what dies is not you. It's only the mask. And what's born in its place is something terrifyingly beautiful, the real you.